Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this amazing Wednesday. A little cold, but we're trying to keep it warm. We're going to be learning about the 811 certification, the 811 process, the whole training. I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Luis Rendon. I'm the bilingual liaison for the Education and Outreach Department. A little bit of my background: I worked at OETA, the PBS station here in Oklahoma, as in the production department. And I also have worked and still work for OU Athletics. I do Spanish radio for football and women's basketball, and I've done all the Spanish stuff for them. I'm also a graduate alumni from the School of Journalism at OU. That's a little bit of my background. I'm going to toss it to my colleague here, William Bohannon. So before we start.
Hey, y'all. Thank you, Luis. As Luis said, I'm William Bohannon. Most people call me Bo. My background is in education. I've been working in education for about 8 years. My most recent experience was with the Oklahoma City Zoo as a program supervisor for education, and I volunteer or moonlight as director of training and development for a local nonprofit. I'm really excited to get into the training today with y'all. It's gonna be some great information regarding excavation safety and the law. So I think we're ready to roll.
Let's ready. Let's get started. So first of all, I want to show you guys an accident that happened in 2019 in the city of Murrieta, California, an hour away from San Diego. This happened. It was a really devastated situation. Unfortunate. What happened behind this? It was a contractor that was trying to do just a simple work, putting up a fence at a neighborhood, and didn't contact 811. And that caused an explosion entirely to that house that you guys can see in that video. This destroyed the house completely, as you guys can see. It injured 15 people, including 3 firefighters, and killed 1 gas company employee. Again, the big takeaway from this is just you don't want a simple job turn into a tragedy because you're not contacting 811. And then, you're putting somebody else's lives at risk, property or health, and you're also violating the law. So decisions matters. We're always trying to be responsible in our day-to-day. And when you're doing this type of work in this industry, you have to follow the protocols, in this case, the law, the 811 law. So always keep that in mind. Again, it was just a simple work, and it can turn into a disaster. I'm going to show you another picture here of the incident. And this is another.
We're learning more about that major gas explosion in the Bay Area that completely obliterated a home. This happened in Hayward, just south of Oakland. The large blast also impacting surrounding homes.
Eyewitness News anchor Mark Cota-Robles live in our newsroom with the wild video showing the moment of the explosion. Mark.
Yeah, Mark and Michelle, good evening. When you see that video, it is incredible that no one was killed. That has been confirmed. 6 people were injured and taken to a hospital after the massive blast. Again, that frightening explosion caught on camera. The blast recorded on doorbell video destroyed 2 homes. You saw a utility worker there ducking behind his truck. He appeared to be okay. This is the devastation from above. It happened in the city of Hayward in the East Bay. The powerful explosion also blew out windows and shook nearby homes, the debris raining down everywhere, landing on neighboring homes and cars. While the investigation is unfolding, we do know the explosion happened just hours after a construction crew damaged a gas line. It was part of ongoing work to widen sidewalks and bike lanes in the area. The fire department spoke about their efforts in searching for more possible victims.
Right now, we're going to try and get the fire knocked down, the remaining remnants of it, and we're going to go in and do another search to make sure we're not missing anyone or seeing anything that hasn't been seen already.
The Alameda County Fire Department now confirms that no one else was found. They believe that some of the people injured were workers in the street. There's no word if any residents were among those injured. PG&E says the explosion happened 10 minutes after their crews stopped the flow of gas. The NTSB now responding to the scene to assist in this developing investigation. Live in the newsroom, Mark Cota-Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Bo, you can expand a little bit on what happened in that city. That was in California as well. I guess California they have to keep reminding people to contact 811. It happens more than you think.
Yeah, there have been quite a few gas line strikes out there in the past few years that have been pretty impactful. And so, like they mentioned in the video, there was some construction expanding a sidewalk. The excavator damaged a gas line, and a few hours later, it had the effect. And so, it doesn't. I mean, the big thing to keep in mind is that all damage, no matter how small or what you might think could or couldn't be, is still impactful.
Yeah, and then again, we're gonna dive in more into it. But every time you suspect something wrong, just contact the operators, or in this case, OK11.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's jump into the material today that we're gonna be learning in today's agenda. It's gonna be between 90-minute workshop. We're going to be learning about the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act. Some of you guys may know it by the OVU FDPA. We're going to be learning safe excavation practices that helps protect people, property, and infrastructure. We'll be learning the entire process of 811 from planning a dig site to responding after an incident, just like the ones that you guys just saw in the two previous videos. And it doesn't matter if you have a ton of experience in the excavation world, or if you're just learning for the first time as a new excavator. This training will help you keep up to date with all the law and be prepared to dig safely. At the end of this workshop, you guys will be taking a certification test. It'll be 25 questions. You only need 80% to pass. It's a very easy test. It's going to be about all the material that we're going to be seeing today. It's open book. Open book. You can, if you have colleagues next to you taking this webinar, you guys can help each other. You guys can ask us questions on the chat. We'll be happy to answer them. So it is a very easy test that you guys will have to take to be fully certified. Only 80% to pass it. You can take it up to 2 times. But now it's going to talk to you guys about what OKI is as an organization.
Oh, yeah, of course. So OKI 811 is a nonprofit member-funded organization that was created in 1979. It's a free statewide notification service that connects excavators with utility operators. We are basically just the middleman, and we'll go through this whole training touching back in on more of Oki's parts as we kind of, go through the training.
Good, right? Yeah.
So basically, an excavator can submit a ticket by calling 811 or going online using our portal in the state of Oklahoma. OKI 811 notifies those utility operators in that area where you proposed your excavation. Then the operators will send out locators, usually within the 48 hours that is provided. We'll get into required time here shortly. And again, one of the biggest things about OKI 811 and with safe excavation is that this is to help protect people, prevent outages, avoid damages. It's all about making it home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. It's your safety, public safety,
yes,
and protecting, life, health, and property.
Yeah. And again, I always like to say this in my presentations: is a pipe can get fixed. That whatever damage that happens, even if it's an accident, it can be fixed. It can be repaired. Life cannot be. It cannot be brought back to life. So always be responsible. Always be considerate. Try to think about your coworkers, the people that work surrounding you. Always think about the other person that needs to do a job so your job can be better. Us, the locators. This is all a combined effort that we always want to push to do it better every day. So always think about that. I know sometimes there's deadlines to get jobs done, but take a step back, be a little patient, and just do it the right way. Follow the protocol, follow the law. And at the end of the day, like Bo just said, we just want you guys make sure that you guys make it home, that you guys are safe with your family, friends, or whoever that person is waiting for you. So they're our way. And we're always going to be here to provide more education as we go.
Yeah. Some more about our responsibilities is that we operate 24/7, 365. So OK811's online system is available all the time to submit tickets. And the call center is open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for phone requests. Now, that doesn't include emergencies or damages, correct? That time frame.
Yes, after 6 p.m., the only calls that we'll take or an agent will take, it would be if it's an emergency, second notices, and damage report.
Damage reports. Yeah. Got it. Excellent. So we take that information and distribute those requests for locate tickets. And really, again, we're just that middleman. We're just taking that information and relaying it to those facility operators in the area. And we maintain records as well. So all tickets, operator responses, communications, they're logged and stored here.
For up to 4 years.
For up to 4 years. These records help to support that compliance if audits or investigations occur. And of course, we also educate and train. We want to support the public, professionals, homeowners, anybody who plans on excavating for safe digging practices and regarding legal compliance.
Yep. A little more about the law. It's the law to contact 811, as you guys already know, the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act. Every excavator must notify, just like Bo said, OK811 for any digging, demolition, or blasting near underground facilities or easements. Also, notice has to be provided at least 48 hours in advance. That has to exclude date of notification, holidays, and weekends. Notice so the ticket, it will be valid for 14 calendar days. After that, a new request must be submitted. An excavator must also check the positive response that they will get from the members, from the utility operators before any digging starts. They have to make sure that they got some type of an answer, right, from the utility operator or locator in some situations. And they also have to respect the marks that once the locator finds the marks and is locates and finds the marks, the utility undergrounds, they have to respect those marks. If facilities are damaged without notifying prior to digging, if any digging happens before, any damage happens before digging occurs, then the excavator is going to be liable for the damages. And excessive unnecessary local requests can also result in liability for costs. Also, this is what we want to always make sure that you guys are putting tickets in the most responsible way. If the job is done, there's no reason for keep submitting tickets. We have to think about the locator that's trying to cover the whole area. And sometimes, if they have to go to a place that the job has already been done, then it's kind of a waste of time and resources. The Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, this law is enforced by the government agency, the OCC. The OCC is actually agency here in the state of Oklahoma that enforces the law, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. They want to make sure that everybody that works near regulated pipelines follows the law, that they don't hit any gas line or damage it or anything like that. They're the ones who can enforce not only the law, but they can also have you guys pay the fine or take that a training. There's someone that can actually force any of those type of violations. They can investigate if something happens. So that's very important that you guys don't want OCC behind you guys, making sure that you guys following the law. So contact 811. Make sure that you're respecting the marks. Make sure that you're respecting the tolerance zone, that you don't hit a gas line, right? Now, Bo is going to start with the 5 steps of safe digging.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. There are 5 key steps with safe digging, and the first one would be planning your project and preparing your work site before we dig, right? So knowing the exact area and that project scope and schedule, that's going to help with submitting your ticket and making sure that everything's marked accurately. Get the accurate info all together. You know, walk the site, look for signs of potential utilities. You're going to find things like meters, pedestals, poles, valves. Even disturbed soil can be a great indicator, especially with how much fiber's been going in lately. So seeing things like that is also a great indicator. And consider some access issues, because if you're not able to access the area pretty easily, the locators are going to have a difficult time as well. So look for things such as locked gates, any kinds of hazards that could delay locations, including pets or animals, wildlife, environmental factors. Clear access ahead of time. It'll help keep everything on schedule. We're also going to want to make sure that we have all the details, like the address, nearest intersection, directions directly to that location. The more accurate the information, the more complete the information, the easier it will be to get that ticket in, and locators will be there a lot easier. Now, when it comes to inspecting your work site, even if your project is small, those buried utilities can run well outside that immediate work zone. So scanning in a 50-foot radius outside of where you plan to excavate helps to prepare that area even further. It is an industry best practice, correct?
Yes, this is suggested. You know, if you can actually take the time to do it, it makes it easier. And again, this is just to avoid any potential damages or any potential delays, right?
Right. And look for things as early as possible that could be a potential hazard.
Yeah.
Watch for those clues above ground. Even weather, as we've seen lately, can be a potential hazard for that excavation. So looking for things like utility meters as valves, pedestals again, overhead lines, tree limbs, those kinds of things as well can also be a potential hazard for excavation.
And again, if you see anything that doesn't seem right, take a pause, contact 811 and clarify everything. Same with the utility operator. Don't just take a guess and keep working. Sometimes that's why this is like a highly suggested best practices, just for you to like really know your area the best possible before you actually start digging.
Yeah, of course, we're going to need to do our homework, right? We're going to need to make sure that we have all of these maps, all the data that we can collect, like operator records, GIS data, surveyor drawings, as-built plat maps. This helps to prepare you for that excavation as well. Get as much information as possible. And you won't exactly know what's below, but these tools can help you spot potential hazards early when it comes to any kind of abandoned lines or underground lines that may have been there pre-existing within that area. So knowing that and having that information readily available. Completing job hazard analysis, having emergency action plans, and document. Using photos, writing out timelines, having all of your paperwork ready to go, documented, and keeping to a schedule.
And that's something that with today's technology, we encourage a lot for those who are working especially near regulated pipelines, like, hey, take photos, take pictures, take whatever you see that it doesn't make sense, it doesn't kind of match with what you're supposed to do at the moment. Just take photos, just document everything. If there's any investigation about any potential damage that happens, you have that, right? You have that backup to show, hey, you know what? I started working here. This underground facility was already damaged before I got here. And then, that can be proactive, right?
Right. It's all about proactivity.
Your proactivity, have that just in case. You never know. You never know what can happen. Sometimes big projects can take can have a lot of details that you may not know, and then you start working and then you miss something, and then that turns into something small, turns into something big.
Right.
So make sure, like Bo said, just take the time to to document anything that you can potentially can.
And of course, when it comes to planning, it's important to prepare that area that you plan on excavating in. Clearing debris, making sure it's free of obstacles before work begins. Now, like right now with the weather and all the snow and potentially downed limbs and things like that, those would be things immediately that would need to be cleared for that area to be marked.
Yes. Right.
Of course, marking boundaries so everybody knows the limits of the work zone, assessing those slopes, terrain, nearby structures that could potentially affect safety. As we know, like fences and sheds that could be blown over, those kinds of things. White lining, which we'll get into a little bit more here in just a second, is how to mark an area before you dig and before putting your picket.
Whatever the proposed area that you want to dig, you probably want to like pre-mark it. And then that just makes it easier for that locator to find better. With more, it gives more accuracy. Accuracy, more precise accuracy.
And then making sure that your project has all the permits and approvals for that excavation before you dig. Making sure that you have all the documentation for that municipality or unincorporated area. Always confirm those easements, zonings, local regulations.
Also, if you're planning to demolishing something, you're gonna need a permit from that municipality or county before you can actually start submitting a ticket for demolition. So
and then again, it was referenced a little bit earlier, but having a plan in case everything goes sideways. An emergency action plan can save lives. So it helps to ensure everyone knows what to do if something goes sideways.
In those cases that you guys saw earlier, probably there wasn't an emergency plan put in place right away. So they probably had to improvise. And, unfortunately, in the first case, there was
there were fatalities.
So there's always, have everything just in case, prepare. I always think about your coworker, your colleague, whoever's doing that job with you.
Fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
So white lining, Bo?
White lining is an industry best practice. And here are a couple of examples. So there's radius point, which is a singular point that signifies maybe I'm going to put in a mailbox or plant a tree. This is the one spot that I plan on working in. And then adding the radius, how far outside of that point that you're going to be working in.
Probably in the first case, since they were putting a fence, they'll probably the path line.
They would want to use the path line.
That probably would have helped to the excavator know. But they still didn't contact 811. So
So, but if you're putting in something like a fence or a pathway, using something like a path line or a linear path with those white flags or white paint, that's
reduces
how you do the white lining, right? You have to use these specific methods that are approved, which is flags, paint, stakes, or other potential thing.
Something white.
Something
that you can put there.
And that proposes that excavation area, right? And then we have the perimeter all within. That would be great for a foundation or an in-ground pool.
Something on the backyard.
Or putting in a pond, maybe. And that is just marking out the whole area that you plan to work in as well. So all these methods, they just require that area be marked with a white flag, white paint. I've seen lately as well, they have these new plugs that are basically you just take a plug and put it in the ground. And I think that would be great for like a radius point.
Awesome.
But again, we need to, if you're planning your area, make sure it's mowed. It's difficult.
There's no high vegetation. Always keep that in mind. And we'll after this session, we're gonna have a locating session. Somebody who's a locator from Great Hog, the locating company, is gonna be talking about what they see on the other side, right? So if you guys wanna stick after this session and join the second one with the live of locator, pretty much,
right?
And what they do every day. Do you guys all understand what they do every day and why little things like high vegetation locate is kind of like their everyday difficulties
going through.
Yep. Now, Bo, we're gonna go with the most important step, step 2.
That is the most important step, right? So before any excavation begins, you're legally required to contact 811.
Yeah,
So,
more than anything, yeah.
more than anything.
Maybe you can get by with step 1, but you
always have to do step 2.
Do step 2, for sure.
So by law, again, you must notify OK 811 if you are excavating within the state of Oklahoma. And those requests can be submitted online 24/7 and by phone Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And after 6 p.m. only if it's an emergency,
Second
notice, or damage report.
Right. And so you're going to, again, reference back to that first step with complete information. Incomplete or vague tickets, that's going to create a lot of confusion for our locators.
Yes.
Well, and
have to be very clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, those facility operators, locators, we don't have locators.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that clear details are present on the ticket to help those operators locate and mark correctly and efficiently. Include project details. This is going to be a huge part of the ticket, knowing the exact location, type of work, the start date and end date when it comes to that. And then what is this work for? Is it for a homeowner, contractor, municipality, etc.? The more specific and the more details that you can provide, the safer and faster the response and the more clear those markings are going to be.
Thank you both.
Yeah. And then excavators always call before digging, even small jobs like planting trees, putting in mailboxes.
Anything that requires manipulating or messing with the earth or the ground, the dirt, you have to contact 811.
Yes. And so there's always a possibility of hitting an underground facility just because we don't have X-ray vision, right?
No,
so it's important to make sure that those utilities are read before excavation begins. A national statistic is that every 6 minutes, a line is damaged in the U.S. because 811 isn't contacted.
Yeah.
So,
and 811 is the national number. OK 811 is just kind of like the
for Oklahoma.
For Oklahoma.
Yeah. So maintaining marks, this is also an excavator's responsibility to maintain the marks. They are only valid for 14 days in Oklahoma, those 14 calendar days. If they fade, wash away, get disturbed.
Or a little kid
comes out, starts taking up the flag.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe right now with the snow, there's
the snow could be washing
a lot
out
of
the
electricity.
paint mark.
Yeah.
So it's important to request a remark. We'll get into that later with ticket types, but making sure that all the marks are clear and protected for you and your crew's project is very important. And of course, following safety protocol, following that tolerance zone. Again, towards the end, we're going to really get into the tolerance zone, but hand digging when required and reporting any and all damages immediately, regardless of who is at fault. Now,
when it comes to actually
when it comes to getting those tickets, getting that contact info,
and we can put the example: you're the excavator and I'm the office admin.
Right. Yeah. So you're the office admin. Yeah. You're the one making the ticket. So every locate request, it must include the name of the person submitting the ticket.
And that would be me.
And that would be admin.
Yeah.
And then a field contact as well. And so this helps in case the locator needs access to the site. Yeah. I would be the field contact doing the excavation.
Yeah. So I have to make sure that I put both information in that ticket. I could probably have information and know what's happening, but I may not. I may just, hey, they told me to do this, to contact 811 for this specific project, but I don't know anything. So it's important that that communication is clear. Whoever is putting up the ticket, whoever's contacting 811, that gives the field contact information just in case something is not clear with the locator can contact directly, in this case, Bo, who has fully knowledge of the work site.
And it can also help if the response is a watch and protect, then they will be able to immediately work out contact.
Or any questions, both the excavator and the locator have to be able to be easy to reach each other.
Right. That communication being streamlined is very, very important. And of course, company details, names, address, phone, all the general information that would be required.
Yep.
Now,
More information.
More
This is
information.
more like
that
the
is
actual
required.
information of the
Yeah.
project, yeah.
So making sure that the address is clear, the exact location, GPS coordinates if this is an unincorporated area, but giving directions in general, what address is it, how can it be accessible, if this is something well outside of the city, getting all of that information, and then adding information if it is something like a suburban area, like if it's the backyard, the front yard, side yard, what specific can be incorporated in that ticket. Work description, and there's a variety of different things that can be considered excavation. So the type of work like trenching, boring, grading, fence posts, planting, anything along those lines, including the scope. Because scope creep is a scary thing.
Yeah.
We want to make sure working inside of a scope or size of the project, length, how many square feet, those kinds of
corporate
things.
areas 500 by 500. Corporate areas and rural areas is 1 mile.
Rural area is 1 mile or unincorporated.
Unincorporated areas.
Right. So a 50-foot trench for a water line along a north fence is a pretty specific description.
Yes, that's an example.
Special considerations as well. Mention anything that may not be a typical excavation, right? Not just using a shovel or a backhoe, but something like explosives, directional boring, making sure that if you do white lining, include that as a special consideration. Pets, access issues, and hazards are also very important. If you know that a rattlesnake den is nearby,
Or
putting that in the notes.
an angry puppy.
Oh yeah.
Anything
puppies.
that
If there's a beehive within the vicinity,
you never know. Yeah.
You got to make sure that you walk the site, collect the information. So start time and date, making sure that it is stated the exact time that project is going to begin in excavation. And remember, have to allow a minimum of 48 business hours, not including holidays, weekends, or data notification for utilities to respond. Now, there is a window there, which the maximum amount of time is 10 business days, minimum being 48 hours.
48 hours, correct.
So, and again, not including holidays, weekends, data notification.
Of course, yep.
But more time is better.
Yep, the more
Right.
time, the more time
you
the
can
locator can take, doesn't have to rush. Again, they have not only your place to locate and mark, but they have 10 more in their area.
Right.
So,
Or, I mean, thousands
or more,
thousands of tickets, right? Because any ticket that we get, we have to
and
distribute.
we'll see that in the next session, starting at 1 with Noel Rojas from Great Hog. He has pretty awesome material to understanding how locating works.
Excellent.
Don't forget the estimated completion date passes, Bo.
Oh, yep. Correct. Yeah, we need to have that estimated completion date. And once it passes, that ticket is done.
Done. Yeah, you have to renew the ticket and give a new estimated completion date. Right.
Right. And so once that completion date is done, got to generate a whole new ticket.
You can renew as long as it's
within that lifetime. But
and then you you have to change the estimated completion date.
Yes, and that comes with generating a whole new ticket. But making sure that that project is completed before the end of that end date. And we did get a great comment of the abuse of the emergency locate, which is
it's a violation of the law. Yeah,
right, because now it becomes something that doesn't include the scope of an emergency ticket, right? If within an emergency locate, it needs to be an immediate threat to life, health, or property.
Yeah,
and if it is not,
then you are abusing the system, in other words. And I know it sounds kind of weird to say it that way, but if an emergency is not because you need to finish a project that is due on Friday. That's not an emergency. Again, we go back to the original part of the presentation. We have to be considered. This is a combined effort between excavators, us in the middle, and the locators, right? If there's not an emergency, you're asking someone who's on the other side of the city to come and locate and mark. So that just doesn't, it doesn't help the flow of the work for everybody that has to have it done in a specific time, right?
Right. Well, and it's not an emergency that the project is due by this time, but you didn't put in a locate request. That's just needing to plan ahead and putting in a locate request prior to the project occurring.
An emergency is only if you guys need to fix something right away. Just like Bo said, that's putting something at risk. In this case, it's life, health, or property. If main water line is damaged and it's flooding the whole neighborhood, that's an emergency. You guys have to fix it right away.
We'll talk about ticket types here.
Yeah, right after this. Yes, yes.
And so we'll definitely dive more into the emergency request as well.
And ticket types. Yeah. Now that you know, first step one, prepare your area. Know all the little best practices to really have fully knowledge of your area. You contact 811. You give all the right information. Make sure that if there's anything wrong, call again and hey, or there's a correction that needs to be done. Make sure that you keep that in mind, and then you jump into ticket types.
Right, and then knowing what ticket you do need.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's going to be a normal compliant ticket. That's a typical excavation job, and it's something that can be done within a 14 calendar day span. If not, then the completion date would need to go a little further. But
normal compliant, yep.
Yep, normal compliant. So standard locate request. This is the most common ticket type. It's just a standard locate request submitted before any planned excavation, right? So this is a planned excavation. And giving that advance notice, again, there's a window there of a maximum of 10 days and a minimum of 48 hours. Yeah. So that, again, excludes holidays, weekends, data notification, but the more time in advance, the better for the locate. So it must be submitted, and this is non-emergency. First time.
Highlight that, non-emergency.
Non-emergency.
This is just a normal ticket.
A normal ticket. You're planning an excavation, and this is just a flow, right?
And it will be valid, yeah.
Everything from home projects to contractor work, job sites, anything that would be disturbing earth. Validity,
14 calendar days.
14 calendar days. Once that start time arrives to the end of that 14 days, that is the operational time of that ticket. That
Let me give an example. For example, just to an example, right? A contractor is installing a 200-foot water line trench on a residential street. They submit a normal locate request on Monday. Operators have until the end of Wednesday to respond. Digging can legally begin Thursday, and then the ticket stays valid for 14 calendar days from Monday. So very simple. You submit a ticket, you kind of count the 48 hours, you make sure that you check the response. We'll dive into that later. And once everything is good, you can start digging. Once everything's marked and all clear, you can.
Once that start date comes in, you have all of your response, which we'll go more into those safe steps here in just a second. But then we have update tickets, such as remark and extend. So with a remark, submitting it when marks fade or disturbed, unclear, you're unsure of those marks, it's a great opportunity to get those refreshed, right? So it must cover the same location and scope as the original ticket. It doesn't go outside of that. It stays within that original ticket, right? And it does extend the life of that ticket for an additional 14 calendar days, as long as that doesn't go beyond the estimated completion date. So you have an example for us, Luis?
Yes. A contractor is trenching for fiber. Now that fiber is so popular now.
Fiber everywhere.
Yeah. Rain washes away the marking after 10 days. They submit a remark request so locators return and reapply marking before work continues. And just a quick explanation of how remarks can be can happen, right? Let's say you have the ticket, the life of your ticket is still valid within the 14 calendar day window, and then you have your work site. One part of the work site is marked, but the other side of the work site is not marked. You can still work wherever it's marked, But on the other side, you're gonna have to submit a remark and wait until that's being marked again. In the meantime, you can continue, keep working in all the area that is being marked. But you still have to wait on that specific area that the flags were washed or destroyed or whatever happened to them, they get remarked.
Right.
Yep.
And presenting that remark, again, needs to be, your marks are faded and you need to be able to see them.
Now extend, yep.
Right. So for extend, this work, the work is still ongoing, but the ticket is about to expire. You can see your marks, they're visible, you've protected them. And again, everything within the scope and location does not change.
And within the estimated completion date, right? You can update.
Right. As long as it's within that estimated completion date, you can do an extend, and that will extend for 14 calendar days. And that needs to be submitted, again, within that 48-hour minimum.
And you'll see it on your ticket as well. They'll see a specific day, hey, this is when you can submit your extend.
Right.
Now the locator has the kind of like the call to, like, he'll decide if new remark needs to be done or not. Depending on, they might see that, you know what, it was just remarked not too long ago, look, everything looks good, but they can go back and remark if needed. But that's on them if they actually want to go ahead and remark, because you're just extending the life of your ticket. And just to give you guys an example, a crew is installing a water lines for a subdivision. The project is running long, so they submit an extend request on day 13 to keep their ticket active. Operators confirm, but may not come back if the markings are still valid. Anything for me, Bo? Any questions?
Let me see, I got a couple of statements come up. I'd like to discuss offline an issue, completion date, life of the ticket. If there's anything that you would like to discuss outside of our training today, you can email us at education@okie811.org. If there's anything else, we can address in chat. 14 calendar continuous days, or 14 days not including holidays. So it is continuous. It is 14 calendar days, which are a continuous period. And when we go into waiting the required time, we'll talk more about that as well. So second and third notice, this is given if a facility operator has not responded or failed to mark a site. And this is pretty much just a bump of telling, hey, can we get somebody out here, make sure that this is all marked and that we have our response. And so it's a way to request compliance, but not give more time. It's just reaching out to that operator and letting them know we don't have markings and it is our start date for our project. We need to make sure that we are covered. The original ticket timeline still applies. It does not reset 14 calendar days. Once it started, it has started.
So you have to be on it. You have to make sure that following up with your ticket, checking your positive response, making sure that, hey, because if you forget, then their days are passing, and you're wasting, you're losing days of your project. So make sure that if in 48 hours you haven't get a response, contact 811 right away, so we can contact the member, the utility operator, so they can go and remark, right? To give an example, if you submit a ticket Monday, by Thursday, 4 utilities have marked, but gas company hasn't. You send a second notice through OK11, gas then marks later that day, the original 14 validity still applies. It doesn't, just like both said, it doesn't restart the clock. So having a communication with the locator is very important, because, it might go, instead of 48 hours, 49 hours, just a little extra hour. But if you talk to that locator and say, hey, and he says, hey, I'm going to be there at your work site. I'm just, have a lot of stuff. I'm in all over the place. Give me 1 extra hour and I'll be there at your work site and locate right away. So that could work in some scenarios, in some situations, that if you contact the locator directly, sometimes they leave numbers on their responses, right? Make sure that you try to reach out to them and, hey, I haven't got my stuff located yet. I haven't got it marked. What's going on? And they might say, hey, I am just really close to get there. Just give me an extra 30 minutes and I'll do it for you. But that's in some scenarios. If you want to go ahead and call 811 directly, do so. But yeah, if you haven't got any response, you haven't seen anything, the right way to do it is just submit a second and third notice. Hopefully you never have to submit a third notice. That means that is behind a lot.
Right.
Emergency, Bo.
Yeah.
Emergency.
So back to emergency tickets. This is an immediate threat to life, health, or property.
Can you say it one more time?
To life, health, or property, an immediate threat to one of those three or more things, right? Those three are the legal definition: life, health, property.
Yep.
So this is the legal exception to the rule of waiting, but it is not a shortcut. So providing notice, call as early as possible, even if work must start immediately. Wanting to give some time if possible.
Yeah, right.
The more detail you give about what is occurring, the faster operators can respond. So as much detail as you can give, the better, I guess, support can be provided, I should say. So explain that emergency, be clear about the situation. Is it a gas leak? Is it a water main break?
A sinkhole,
Sinkhole, power outage, something along those lines.
And I'm assuming probably there was, I know in some states did happen, power outages. And
Right.
with this winter storm that happened, that's very common. So yeah, that's an emergency, right? You
Yes.
need to restore power right away.
Right, because that is a threat to health and property.
Yeah, right.
So proceed carefully. Even in an emergency, safe digging practices still apply. Hand digging and being cautious are essential to avoid making the situation worse.
An example, a contractor hits a water main during road work, flooding the street and threatening nearby businesses. They submit an emergency because everything's getting flooded. So the person submits an emergency ticket immediately. Utility operators are notified and repair crews respond on site the same day. So that's kind of the way it works. If something is just, it needs an immediate response to fix, you can start right away. It's an emergency. That's an emergency, but you still need to contact not only 811, but also the utility operator.
Right. So emergency tickets are solely about public safety, not convenience.
Yes.
And then damage reports, no matter what kind of damage it is, anything that pretty much alters the original state of that utility can be considered a damage and should be reported. And so by law, all damages must be reported immediately, even if they look minor or don't cause an outage. So damage includes nicks, dents, scrapes, exposure of a facility. It's not just a break or a leak. Something that alters that original state. So notifying the operator, so contacting that utility company directly so they can inspect and repair the facility if needed, submit a damage notice, report it to Okie 811 by filling out that damage notice ticket. And this ensures that there's documented record, the operator is officially notified.
And just to add a little bit into the damage report, let's say I'm a construction worker and I'm doing some excavation, and as soon as I'm start digging, I see a pipeline or see a line or infrastructure, underground infrastructure that has already been damaged.
Yeah.
Right? At that point, I have to stop and report that and document that.
Right.
Because if I don't do that, we don't know what work happened there before I got there. So there has to be transparency of what's going on, because you have to be, again, go back to being considerate, being responsible. If I damage something, and let's change the scenario. If I damage something, I'm doing a job and I don't report it, and it's just like, Bo said, just a minor scratch or dent, and then the next guy in a couple of years comes, maybe a year later comes in, does another job in the same area, same work site, same underground infrastructure, and then they use, different equipment, or they're just not following the tolerance zone or whatever, and boom, hits the line and explodes. That's a full-blown situation there that happens. It's because I'm not being responsible. I'm not taking care of what I need to do, which is I should have reported that, right? And then what if that person, dies, right? Again, that kind of falls on the person that didn't submit a damage report notice. So it's important that anything that we see that is not clear, that is damaged, that is slightly, again, not looking right, you have to contact 811 so we can take matters of that situations and report it to the utility operator so they can fix it. Again, we want to think about the other people that are doing a job just like us.
Right, and damage reports must be phoned in
Yep, correct.
to Okie 811. So you have to call 811 anytime that you are putting in a damage report. Now, coming back to that excessive or unreasonable locate request, excavators must only request locates for work that will actually start within that 14 calendar days, right? Submitting tickets too early or for areas you're not actively working on can be considered abuse of the system. It's not a scheduling tool. That's why we have Google Calendar and
Teams.
We got Teams. What else? There's Outlook. So looking for a scheduling tool, there are options, but this is not one of them. 811 is for active excavation, not reserving time or just in case planning. Excessive or unreasonable requests, like repeatedly filling tickets for inactive or untouched areas, ties up resources and wastes operators' time.
Yep.
And according to Oklahoma law, the OUFDPA, section 142.6K allows operators to recover costs from excavators for these kinds of abuses.
An example, a contractor submits tickets for an entire subdivision, but only works in one small section. The rest of the lots sit untouched for weeks. This is considered excessive because it forced operators to mark areas with no excavation activity. So just simple as that, putting up a ticket on something that is nobody's not even like keeping an eye on.
Right. If nobody's working on it, then the tickets should be held until work is ready to begin.
Correct. Thank you, Bo.
Yeah.
Send field.
Yeah. So that date of completion, every locate request submitted through Okie 811 includes a date of completion. This date tells operators how long the excavator expects their project to last. Now, with that check, operators should use this field to judge if the scope and timing seem realistic. For example, a simple 10-foot fence line shouldn't need 3 months to complete. Now, with spotting abuse, if work is not actually happening, the tickets are being resubmitted over and over. This can be flagged as excessive or unreasonable use of the system.
And again, like for example, maybe like a fence might take up to a week or two.
Right, it could take a week or two, depending on weather. So it
won't take 6 months.
It won't take 6 months unless it's
mansion.
Right, doing a full on.
This is for an old house. That's the
right, and that would require multiple tickets.
Yeah.
So,
emergency situations, what to do when something goes wrong. Under Oklahoma law, anytime an underground facility is damaged or substantially weakened, that's a kind of a hard word to pronounce, it must be reported immediately. Notifications must go both to the facility operator so they can inspect and repair, and to us, the one call center here at Okie 811 to officially document the damage. And just to give an example, while boring for a fence line, a crew scrapes the coating on a gas line, even though there's no leak, the protective layer is compromised. By law, by the OUFDPA, they must call the gas company and submit a damage notice through Okie 811 right away. And yeah, so
Of course, if there is an emergency, if something does occur, evacuating the area.
somebody's getting intoxicated because there was a leak of gas or something.
Right. If
Contact
gas leak,
911.
explosion, fire, those kinds of things, immediately evacuate the area, call 911.
911 is the sister of 811.
Right. It is. It's kind of the same concept. 911 has a dispatch. We're also a one call as well, but not for, medical emergencies or.
Well, that's a big brother that helps the sister.
Right. Exactly. And so immediately report any incident that results of flammable, toxic, corrosive gas or liquid released from a pipeline or pipeline system. Contact that facility operator, owner about that damage. Notify them. An excavator discovering or causing damage to an underground facility must notify that owner and Okie 811.
And usually in those flags that you guys see marked on those, what's it called, those posts that you see, they have the number of the company. So keep an eye on everything that you see in your work site because you'll have information there. But if not, contact us here at OK11 and we'll get you square away. Yeah.
And then again, having an emergency action plan prepared for that excavation will have these steps or should have these steps and a contact list as well.
Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Even the most experienced excavators can make a mistake that leads to a damage, delays, or fines. Common errors include starting work before the legal start time. This is kind of seems kind of silly, but yeah, don't rush. I know patience is hard, but patience is key. It's something that you have to kind of work every day. It's hard to be patient. I get it.
Yeah, patience takes time,
but it's important in this industry, and it's important in this process of 811. Digging without checking all utility responses in possible response. That's also important. You have to check the responses that you get from the utility operators. If you don't do that and you just go and, oh yeah, I see some marks, then you might not know if they gave you a specific answer to one of those underground lines. What if you get
watch and protect?
Watch and protect, then you just so don't just assume.
Right. Always check.
Yeah, and that's something that I've learned in the years. Never assume things. Just get clarifications if you need to. Misusing ticket types. Bo just mentioned that, putting up an emergency ticket, a remark, or extend when it's not appropriate. Really, there's no need for it. Don't do that. Use the right tools. Here at OK11, we provide the excavator portal, and that helps you manage and track tickets in real time. Also, here at OK11, we have what's called the Learning Hub that provides training and certification to stay compliant with the law. And also the Excavator Guide and Law explains responsibilities under the Oklahoma law. We're going to have our new guide for this year, 2026.
Yes, that'll be coming out soon.
Updates. We'll have it in Spanish and Espanol for those who have crews or have workers or employees or colleagues that speak Spanish and have a better understanding. By reading it in Spanish, we're going to have that soon as well.
Just as well, coming to these safety days, be it virtual or in person, there are a variety of resources and tools that will be provided. Like we have a couple of other things this afternoon. And we also have our Safety Expo coming up as
soon.
well, the Oklahoma Excavation Safety Expo.
And first and second, yep.
Which will be a literal menagerie of those safety resources and tools. So
a lot of resources for sure. But just a quick example of to kind of how mistakes can look like. A contractor assume no paint equals no lines, right? You see no marks, no lines. And started early. I'm just, he wanted to take advantage of time. In reality, the utility had not yet responded in response to the response system. They struck a telecom line, causing outages and customer repairs. This could have been avoided by simply verifying in the portal before digging. And let's go back to the first case. What happened in California? He didn't call 811 because he thought it was just putting up a fence, easy peasy, and ended up exploding. And unfortunately, somebody died because of that. So you have to really, be smart, be responsible, take the necessary steps. One thing that you can damage that can really cost a lot of money is a fiber line, fiber optic. So you don't want to damage those. Those are very hard to deal with.
They are. And making sure that everybody's in communication is very, very, very important.
Keep in mind, this is just, keep it in the top of your head every day. Each excavator company or contractor doing excavation work on the worksite must have their own separate A1 dig ticket covering their specific excavation activity. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say we're at a worksite, me and Bo.
No piggybacking.
No piggybacking.
No
Yeah,
piggybacking.
that's that word, man. The first time I heard it, I was like,
What?
okay, so
Yes.
we have a construction work site. I am an electricity company. Bo is, I don't know, gas.
Yeah.
Gas.
Sure.
Bo did the right thing. He contacted 811. He waited the 48 hours. Everything was located and marked. He's good Chico, good kid from the school. But I'm not. I just came in and I want to get my job done. I have to get it done by next week. But Bo and I are friends. We went to school together. So hey Bo,
What's up, man?
what's up? Can I? You have a ticket. We're literally working right next to each other. Can I borrow your ticket? Can I have an idea where the underground lines are in my area as well? He was like, you know what? Sure, I'll give it to you. So I start digging. Boom, I had a line. I go, well, what's in my ticket? I put it in. I didn't put it in, so I'm just gonna wash my hands and see. And then full investigation from the OCC comes in, and then both this ticket comes from you, from your company, from your office admin. You're the one who's doing the job here. What happened? Liability falls. And we're not gonna talk liability, but liability becomes the topic, right?
Right. Well, my name's on the ticket.
In the ticket, so he's gonna be in a really ugly situation.
I will be the one that has to communicate a lot of the information.
So keep that in mind. Every excavator doing works at the same area has to have their own tickets. No sharing, no being besties or anything.
Right.
that does not matter.
It comes down to focus on that scope and how everybody is going to have a different perception of that scope going into it.
Yeah.
So making sure that is on the ticket. Everybody has their own compliant ticket.
It could be a same project, but different type of work at that moment. Yeah.
Right.
Step 3, now we went to step 1. You prepare your area. You have full knowledge. Step 2, you contact 811. You know that type of work you're doing. You know all the ticket types that exist. You know when an emergency happens, when an emergency is not happening, when to wait, how long your ticket lasts. All that information, you have it in your hands. Now it's time to wait. The famous word being patience, right? Waiting period is the 48 business hours. 48. By law, you must wait 2 full business days after submitting a ticket. Weekends and holidays do not count towards the 48 hours. The date of submission doesn't count either. The clock starts the next business day after you submit the ticket. For example, if you submitted a ticket on Tuesday, you cannot dig until Friday morning, assuming there's no holidays. So it's pretty straightforward, Bo. Maybe let's give an example if it was a holiday.
Holiday. So like if Labor Day.
On
Monday.
It's on a Monday. You submit a ticket on Thursday. So Thursday doesn't count because it's the day that you submit the ticket, right? Friday doesn't count. Monday doesn't count because it's a holiday, right?
Would Friday count?
Friday will count.
Yeah,
Friday will count. Sorry, Friday. That's it. That's me. You're good. Friday counts. Monday doesn't count.
Right. So that Saturday, Sunday, Monday doesn't count.
Wednesday.
So it would have to be on Wednesday because Tuesday is that next
48 hours.
And that is the minimum, right?
I almost tricked myself. I was gonna say Tuesday. It's Wednesday.
It'll be Wednesday.
It'll be Wednesday, correct.
And
so going back to the waiting period time, the required time, no early digging, excavating before the legal start time is a violation of the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, the Oklahoma digging law, excavation law. Early digging puts lives, property, and critical infrastructure at risk.
And again, try to provide as much time as possible for those locators. The minimum is 48 hours, but maybe giving it 3 to 4 days ahead.
Yep. Why it's so important? It's crucial for excavators to wait until the work to begin date and time after submitting a local request to ensure safety and accuracy. OK11 processes that request and notifies utility operators with underground lines in the area. Operators then review the information. They'll make sure that everything looks right. They'll dispatch the locators and mark the utilities with paint or flags. This notification window gives all operators enough time to respond and helps prevent damages, injuries, and costly services interruptions. So it's pretty simple. You make a call or by the computer. We get the information. We submit it to the members, the utility operators that own the assets in the area where you intend to dig. They'll review everything. They'll send those locators. They'll get the response on the positive response system. You check it, make sure that everything's good, and you're good to go. Good to start digging. Facility operator and locators' responsibilities. First, they have to maintain their maps. Facility operators must keep their digital services area boundaries accurate in the OK11 system. Any utility operator that owns an underground infrastructure have to keep their maps updated within our A11 system. If they have a new asset or a specific area, a new underground facility, they have to let us know and update that map eventually with us, so we know where they are. Obviously, sometimes it can happen. Somebody's doing a job and that underground is not registered. It cannot be seen in the map, so it could create also another situational problem. Correct?
Right. Absolutely.
Outdated or missing maps equals notifications don't reach the right operator, which create risk. Also, locators have to try to mark as most accurately as possible using the APWA, American Public Workers Association. They have to use the right color codes: red for electricity, yellow for gas, and so on. Blue for water, green for sewers. You want to add something?
Purple for slurry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark must be placed within 48 business hours of the request. Accuracy is critical. A wrong mark can be just as dangerous as no mark. They also have to respond promptly. Oklahoma law requires a positive response for every ticket. If there's no conflict, operator must reply clear so excavators know the status. No response equals uncertainty and higher risk. They also have to stay reachable, just like the excavator, right? That has fully knowledge of the work site. They have to be able to be easy to reach. That locator also has to be able to be easy to reach. Operators must have contact personnel available for coordination, and we'll learn more about that in the next session about Great Hawk and their locator, Noel Rojas. We're going to give a ton of information, really important information on how the locating process works on their side. But again, it's important that the utility operators give the right response so the excavator can check it, make sure that it matches what they're seeing on the work site. Something important, if you are at the work site and you're doing your job and you're digging and you cannot find that underground infrastructure, right? You have to stop. Don't keep digging. Stop. If it was supposed to be, you were supposed to find it, right, at one point, but you keep digging, and nowhere to be found. Take a pause. Contact 811, or if you have the phone information of the locator, contact. Hey, I think the mark is way off, right? They're gonna come back and redo the job again. So make sure that you do that sometimes. And we had, and when I was doing the Spanish Safety Day back in October, we had a situation where an excavator was doing a job. He was supposed to find the underground line, that it was a gas line. He didn't find it. The mark was way off, right? And poop hit it. So, this is when you put the game of whose fault is it. part of the person, let's say the locator made a mistake there, fine, but also the excavator should have said, hey, you know what, I can't find it, I have to stop. And he did. He kept digging and digging and digging until eventually hit it. So again, don't rush, be patient, take a pause if you need to, and contact 811. We're here to help. And then if you can't find the locator's number, we'll probably provide it to you, and you guys can make those connections as soon as possible. Positive response, don't assume, never assume. If you see paint or flags on the ground, it's your legal responsibility to check positive response system. And this is step 4. Didn't mention it's step 4 after waiting that period of time. You have to check your positive response. This confirms that every notified operator has responded to your ticket. Protect your marks as well. Once confirmed, it's up to the excavator to keep the markings visible and intact. Avoid driving equipment over them, washing them away, or letting them fade unnoticed. If they get washed away because of rain or any natural cause, submit a request or request a remark. Submit a remark. If marks are missing, damaged, or unclear, then you will do that so they can have a locator come back and remark your area. Marks are only valid for 14 calendar days. After that, they must be refreshed. I know in some states, and I think it's Colorado, ticket may last up to 21 days, but I'm not quite sure. I know some days can vary, but here in the state of Oklahoma, it's only for 14 calendar days.
Right. It does vary by state as well as tolerance zone, but varies by state. But the consistency is that there will be a response system.
A post system, yep.
There will be a tolerance zone, and there will be a wait period. So being sure that all these safe steps are being followed, and then checking with each state what those parameters would be if you are excavating outside of the state. However, in Oklahoma, these are our.
And can I change the topic a little bit? I'm curious to see. We're about to have our next webinar next week. Our next podcast episode next week. We're going to interview a company from England.
Yes,
like pretty much
so that'll be
the equivalent of what we do here, to see how the law works and what they do different from us. So that'll be very interesting to see.
That'll be fun.
So stay tuned for that as well. Positive response. The positive response is a response from the underground facility owner operator regarding the locate request. Operators are legally required to respond through the positive response system, the PR system, prior to the expiration of the required notice period. So they have to give you a positive response. They have to give you some sort of an answer, something, right? And you have to, as an excavator, check that. Excavators, this is the second part, excavators are legally required to check for positive response through the positive response system before any digging. So it's almost like talking without talking, because you guys can talk over the phone, you probably give the answers with each other, but you have to go and check your device or whatever, your computer, and check that you have given a response from the utility operator. The response should indicate the status of required activities of the operator or designated representative regarding proposed excavation or demolition. You have any questions, Bo?
No questions.
No questions so far?
No.
Good. That's good. That means that
we're doing our job.
We're doing our job. Positive response. This is kind of the responses that you will get from the utility operators. That type of action: clear, site mark, partially marked, or for a large project, no access, no marked, correction required, not marked. So you may see this, right, in your submission. So you have to keep an eye on that. Some of them, as you guys can see, are optional, and the other ones are required. More positive response, watch and protect. This is probably one of the main ones. This is for people that are working near regulated pipelines. By law, required. The gas company must include the name and phone number of the contact who is going to be the representative for the observation. This representative is going to be at the work site with this excavator, making sure that they're following the tolerance zone. They're not hitting or they're not being any close to their underground facility. They're not hitting the gas line, obviously. So you have to make sure that you have that communication with that representative. Look at the number. Again, if you don't get a response, make sure that for any situation, always have screenshots, print the emails, whatever, because if for some reason that representative no shows up and you have to start the job, then and something happens, then you have this information. Hey, I tried to contact them, they never show up. But now if it's the other way around, the representative gave you a date, time to meet, and you didn't show up, then that's kind of on the person's responsibility for not being on that specific time with the schedule with the representative. So communication is key. It has to be transparent. It has to be with a good flow, so you guys can coordinate that the best way possible. Other type of actions is no response. No response received via OK11 postal response system service during the 14-day life of a ticket. This is an auto-generated response. Cancel request. To cancel, you have to contact directly to one of our agents so they can cancel the ticket. And ticket type extend, that's just if you want to extend the life of your ticket. And if marks need a refreshing, excavator must be submitted a new locator request. That's optional from the locator. This is kind of how a ticket will look like. If you guys can see on the screen, how a postal response will look like on your I was going to say TV, on your computer,
right.
or phone.
On the portal.
On the portal, yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Bo.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. For example, you guys can see in red, AT&T has not responded, but Oklahoma Natural Gas has responded, right? It says clear, facility is not in conflict with dig site, described on the ticket. And another comment from the respond is ONG clear, no ONG on property, right? So that's good from ONG. And OG&E, OKC Metro said site marked, facility located and marked at the work site. Another comment, please call your assigned locator with any questions. See, information is there. You have to be able to pay attention to it. It's going to be provided. Now, we can see in this ticket, just to go back to all the stuff we have taught so far, you guys received the response from the members, but you haven't received from AT&T. That means that you cannot start digging until AT&T have responded. Now, if it has been more than 48 hours, what you need to do, Bo?
It's been more than 48 hours.
And AT&T has not given you any, not even an OLA.
Not even an OLA.
Yeah.
You got to do a second notice.
Second notice, correct. So make sure that you get AT&T to respond so you can start digging safely. You don't rush and go, oh, you need, well, somebody can say, well, Oklahoma Natural Gas, they're probably, that's the gas, right?
Right.
It's all good, but you can still damage a fiber line from AT&T that could cost you a ton of money.
And it affects a lot of communication when that does happen.
And yes, correct.
Right.
Now let's flip to a state of emergency. Fortunately, we didn't have a state of emergency this past weekend with a snowstorm. But if that happens, the state of Oklahoma will have I'm missing the word.
It'll pretty much freeze. Right?
Yeah,
it's going. If a state of emergency is declared,
they will declare. The governor will declare.
Right.
And we'll have that information also displayed on our website with the counties that are being affected by the state of emergency. Now, when the state of emergency happens, what can you not do, or what do you have to expect?
Delays.
You
have to expect delays. You have to expect that workflow is going to be backed up. Operators need to focus on their utilities within that area first and make sure that everything's functioning and or repaired, and that area is safe.
And that's a key word again, patience.
Coming back to patience, coming back to safety.
Yes. Second notice and third notice cannot be submitted. You have to wait until these locators have solved the situation, the emergency first, so that after that they can slowly start with their normal job, right, of locating and marking. So you're gonna have to wait. If a ticket expires, it may be updated, but delays are expected. Utilities will respond, again, going back, once restoration and emergency priorities are addressed, are being taken care of.
Right.
So
Now,
again,
if the ticket does expire, it may be updated. Delays are to be expected. And utilities, again, will respond after they've gotten all their priorities done.
Perfect.
So,
thank you.
yeah, commercial break.
It was a commercial break, Super Bowl style. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
Super Bowl is about to start. Do you have any teams in preference?
I don't sports.
Well, I'll ask you, who's they're rooting for? Seahawks or Patriots? Patriots.
I'm afraid to see if the chat's gonna light up with that one.
Maybe some Chiefs fans over here. Well, let's get started. Thank you for returning after that 10-minute break. So, oh, sorry, I have to do this.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
All righty.
We're back.
Markings, Bo. Tell me about markings.
Yeah. So when the facility operator gets their locator, locator comes out and presents these marks. They use their locating abilities. And we have our speaker afterwards who will this afternoon share more about that. But
Correct.
Anyway, the facility operator, not OKI 811 itself, is responsible for marking the location of their underground utilities. They mark the approximate horizontal location on the ground to the line's position from side to side. Depth is not guaranteed, and because utilities can shift or be buried at different depths over time, and they use the American Public Works Association color code, as Louise said earlier, to let everyone know what type of utility is underground. So I'm going to give you a quick list.
List. Okay.
I can give a quick list real fast. So red being electric, yellow being gas, oil, or steam. Orange is communications, blue, potable water, green being sewer or drain, purple, reclaimed water, irrigation or slurry, and then white lining is that proposed excavation. So do you have an example for me, Luis?
If you see yellow paint across a lawn, that indicates a gas line is buried in that area. But the actual pipe could be anywhere within the tolerance zone, so you still need to hand dig to confirm. So there's no guarantees. You still have to do it what's it called? The tedious way. What do I want to call it?
It may seem that way. I believe that even though it's going to be a little bit more tedious, it's still the safest practice.
Correct.
So,
correct.
And then you can bring in hydrovacuum. Or just vacuum excavation as well. So it's not an exact science, of course, though, with locating. Paint and flags show the approximate location of those buried utilities, not their precise depth or alignment.
Yeah, so that locator has to do their best job to attempt to locate.
And they're using equipment, and again, none of us have X-ray vision, so we're all going off of different utility maps.
And mistakes can happen. Yeah, they can make a mistake, and they can probably be way off that underground facility.
And so it's important to understand that it's a practice, not a science, right? It doesn't have a perfect formula for a perfect outcome. Lines may curve, change their depth, be offset. Oklahoma has a lot of different environmental factors, and so because of that, those lines can shift and move. So it is very important to use hand-dug test holes if you need to work around that utility to expose it. Always do that carefully and taking your time. A lot of times mistakes happen because of the rush.
Correct.
So digging with caution, again, working with that slow, deliberate movement when working near markings. And if damage occurs, doing your due diligence of creating that damage report. A great example, a crew expected a water line to run straight across a yard where it was marked instead. The line curved towards the driveway, and because they used hand-dug test holes first, they spotted the curve and avoided breaking the line. So the marks are there to guide you and to work within that tolerant zone, but they are not they're not going to be precise on where that location of the utility will be. So with no conflict markings, you may find these at a site, and no conflict response means the utility operator has no facilities in that proposed excavation
You
area.
might see these flags in your work site. You still have to confirm that at the positive response, just like it says over here. I think I jump ahead. Always check the positive response system to verify that the operators officially cleared that area.
Right. And so it's always important to match those markings with that positive response and making sure that everything is consistent all across the board. If you have some markings on site, but you don't have a positive response, that needs to be confirmed first. If you have positive response, but no markings on site, there needs to be a whole even level with everything. So,
an example for you guys, a homeowner requests a locate to plant a tree in their backyard. The telecom company replies, no conflict, because their lines stop at the front yard. Since there are no lines in that dig area, no markings appear in back. So again, just to check in makes it way easier. So you have to keep an eye on that when you're starting, even if it's a small project, checking that there's not conflict or
every project requires checking positive response. So on site, you have to have a ticket, valid, unexpired. But big thing, coming back to that documentation, having everything from planning your project to your ticket, having it all together. So make sure that your marks are visible. Paint and flags are there again to guide you. And if they are faded, washed away, disturbed, you must request a remark before continuing. Never guess, never assume. Confirm your positive response with your marks. You have an example for us, Luis?
A crew is installing a fence. Their ticket is valid, but after a week of rain, the markings are gone. It's a full rain day, and the markings are completely vanished. Work must pause until a remark is completed. Again, this is how it has to be done. If the marks are no longer visible, you have to take a pause and submit a remark.
Right. So valid ticket plus clear marks, legal and safe digging, right?
OK 811 does not mark or locate underground lines. We are the middle man. We're just a facilitator. We just the messenger. We get the information from the excavator. We send it to the members. We do have members are private. We do have members that are locating companies, and some of them do private locating. And we're gonna go in the next slide talk about that. And when we talk about later on in the presentation, we'll talk about private lightings. But
and so the biggest thing again with Oki, we are the ones who get the information, distribute the information, and keep records. So that communication point between the excavator and the facility operators.
Keep in mind that if the marks are not found where expected, excavation has to stop and the facility operators must be contacted. And the last step 5, we're going to talk about tolerance zone and digging safely in Oklahoma. The tolerance zone is 24 inches on each side of a marked underground facility measured from the outside edge of the mark. This creates a buffer zone that protects both the utility and the excavators. Is highly suggested or that you use hand tools within this area. Switch to hand digging or vacuum excavation. Mechanical equipment is too risky close to those lines. Heavy equipment is not bueno for that kind of stuff. Expose the facility with same methods so you can see exactly where It's before bringing in machinery. Remember, paint marks only show the approximate location. Proceed slowly. Most damages happen when excavators rush through the tolerance zone. Mm-hmm. Take your time. Again, it's trying to prevent. This is trying to prevent damages and any outages and injuries. The only way that you can use heavy equipment, if it's once again you're respecting the tolerance zone, out of that tolerance zone, right? And you can expose, protect, and visually actually can see that underground infrastructure of that facility. Once you can have those three boxes checked, then you can use heavy equipment respecting the tolerance zone.
Maintain that clearance.
Maintain that clearance, that's correct.
Maintain that clearance.
And this is just an example of a crew that was working respecting the tolerance zone. A crew saw yellow paint markings marking a gas line. The hand dug alongside the markings. They discovered the pipe was actually 18 inches off the side. Because they were following the tolerance zone rules, they avoided hitting the pipe with their equipment. You can see in that graphic the pipe, the marks, and the tolerance zone, the 24 inches. Outside of those marks is where you can start using heavy equipment. And we forgot to mention that, well, and this is about damage report. Sometimes when you use a hydro vacuums,
they can remove that protective layer on certain gas lines. So you need to be very cautious with that PSI that is being used with hydrovacing. And if you notice anything like that protective layer potentially being faded off by it, it is very important to report that as a damage so it is replaced and taken care of.
Yep. Additional information. Private lines. What are they? Private lines, also called customer-owned lines, are underground utilities not marked by public utility companies through A11. Where they start, they usually begin after the service meter or the utility's demarcation point. And who's responsible is up to the property owner or excavator to identify and protect them. For example, some of the private lines can be a gas line to a grill, pool heater, or this detached garage, water or sewer lines running from the house to an outbuilding, electric lines to sheds, barns, or landscape lighting, private fiber communication lines on a campus or a large property. So everything that is passed over or turned over from the locator to the property owner, and everything that is installed by the property owner is considered private lines. Right. What to do when you're working around private lines? You have to have a clear communication with the property owner, making sure that they first, if they know where the private lines are. If they know where they are, and it'll be way easier for the excavator to dig safely. But if not, they have to keep in mind that they're going to need a private line locator, right? And we do have some of them. I believe Great Hog is a private line locator. I'm not quite sure. We have a couple that we can provide information of as also part of our members. You have to have the communication with the property owner. Hey, you don't know where the lines are. I don't want to take a risk of hitting something. Let's contact. Let's hire a private line, locating line, and so they can mark and make sure that we're digging safe. You still have to contact A11 though. That whoever's doing the job, whoever's doing the project in that property, this OK11 are gonna notify those members, and they're gonna have locators marking on the easements, right out like on the I would say the right of way of that house, of that property. But you're still gonna need your actual lines, private lines, to be marked. Again, when you talk with property owners, you probably can get by with, hey, if I damage the sprinkler system, would you okay if that happens? Would you be okay to paying for it? And he might say, you know what, yeah, if that happens, I won't mind. But if it's something bigger than that, they probably want to have that located and make sure that the excavator knows where is doing the digging. OK1 does not mark or locate private lines. we do provide, we can provide information of private locating companies that are part of our members, but we don't locate or mark private lines. And just to give you an example real quick, I kind of jump ahead, about private lines. A landscaper is installing a fence and suspects a private electric line runs to a backyard shed. The homeowner confirms it. Instead of guessing, that contractor calls a private locator to mark it, preventing a dangerous hit. So see, just that communication with the homeowner, it prevents any potential scenario of damages or somebody getting hurt or a property getting damaged. Let's just do a quick review of what we learned today. Safe digging made in a simple way. For step one, plan and prepare. You always keep in mind to using white line, review maps, identify hazards. Second step, the most important one is contacting 811, submit an accurate request with full information. Always include a field contact person with knowledge of the site. Make sure that you always have a person who has full knowledge of that project that's happening.
Knowledge of and access.
And access, correct. Right.
Yeah.
Very bueno. Step three, wait full notice, wait the 48 hours that are required. Do not count the day of notice that was submitted, weekends or holidays. Confirm response and respect markings. Check positive response before digging. Protect paint and flags. Request a remark if it's unclear. And the very last one, the one that we just had recently, is dig safely as much as you can. Respect the 24 inches of tolerance zone. Use hand digging tools near marks. Report all damages immediately. Even like just Bo said not too long ago, if the protection layer comes off, that's considered damage, so you have to report that immediately.
Right. And always keep in mind that emergencies are an immediate threat to life, health, and property. So being sure that when you make your requests, if there are remarks, extends, etc., that they are reflective of the work that you are trying to extend or remark, and not just trying to continue a project that hasn't even started work. Make sure that those tickets and their lifespans are reflective of the work that you are trying to do.
Correct. Any questions before we jump into that test? We'll give, what is it, 3 minutes? Any questions? Or maybe less than 3 minutes, but
Maybe like two
yeah,
minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah, any questions you guys may have, you guys can leave it in the chat. We also have one of our team members in the chat helping with answering questions. Haley Manning, she's the manager of the Education and Outreach Department. Thank you, Haley, for helping us out with any questions that the people are having. But again, anything, you can also email us at education@oka11.org. We're really happy to answer any doubts, anything that we didn't cover, or something that we missed, or something that you guys want a better understanding. Let us know. We can always be there for you guys. We have the Oklahoma Excavation Safety Expo QR code here for people to register if they're interested in learning more about the industry. We're gonna have a bunch of sessions from competent person to A1 certification as well. Also, we're gonna have AI in the industry, how that relates to the industry, artificial intelligence, and we're gonna have speakers. It's gonna be a great place, great time to connect with other people from the industry, and it's very, very nice event. Safety days as well. On the other side, we're gonna have here on the right, you can scan that code and see all the safety days we'll be having throughout the year, from starting April through September, I believe. We'll have again a full safety day, but in person, pretty similar to what we're doing today, but in person. So if you're interested in that as well, if you guys can provide some feedback, we'll appreciate it a lot. Just tell us how we do, what we can improve, topics that you guys want to probably see in the future, and potential webinars or safety days. Please take the time to take I think it's 5 questions only, and feedback. I really appreciate attending to this safety day, especially being such a difficult week with the snow and the freeze roads. So
Nice.
thank you, Michelle, for the information. I hope you enjoy that gift card. Haley Manning will send you the information soon today.
Also, we'll be doing another drawing at the end of the month for feedback, people that provide feedback. So take the time, give us your pure, unadulterated feedback. Let us know how we did today. And we'll draw one more $25 Amazon gift card winner from those providing feedback this month.
All right. Thank you, Haley. Again, I want to remind you, everybody that's connected so far, we'll be having at 11, right after this one, new session it's going to be about field perspective from a locator by Great Hog, Noel Rojas, a locator from Great Hog is going to be talking all about locating and how it works, what they do every day, and how it kind of relates the whole relationship between locators and excavators and how it works. You guys are going to have to register to that event. After this one, it's not continuous. So after this one finishes at 11, so you guys are going to have to join the new one, register and join the new one. I think I provided the link. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I dropped the link.
Dropped the link
in the chat for it.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Is there?
it's in the Learning Hub calendar right here. It's going to be at 11, getting that perspective.
Okay.
So
We're here. If you have any questions about the test or anything, please let us know. We'll be here probably until 10:58.
sounds good.
Let's see if I can. I'm going to submit in the chat the next session that I will be having right after this one.
You got it in there too?
Yes.
Nice.
It's right there. You guys can join. And we'll be gonna be having another drawing, a $25 gift card as well. In each session today, we're gonna have one coming up. We'll be doing a drawing as well. And then at 1, let me look at my calendar. We'll be having, well, no, at 1 p.m. we'll have excavation and trenching safety.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be presented by Anders for Safety. We'll have, at the end of that presentation, we'll have a drawing as well. And at the very last session, 3 p.m. will be confined spaces.
Yeah.
Very important information as well. It'll be also presented by Anders for Safety. We'll be we'll be drawing another $25 gift card as well. So, full day with us, full day with very important information and opportunities to, get a new prize.
Yeah, lots of opportunities.
A lot of opportunities. So
get those gift cards.
And I just want to be clear that the other sections, there won't be tests or anything. It's just with us. So it'll just pretty much just be sitting down and listening to the host and presenting and just waiting until the end for the drawing. So thank you again. I want to appreciate all the patience and being here with us and learning some good material from Oklahoma 1.